Your ring, Siegfried, begins to glow amber, and you start to hear a familiar voice coming out. Each time your hand comes up out of the water and breaches the surface, you can hear the sound of a familiar voice. And who is talking to Siegfried?
I'll be talking to Siegfried.
Okay.
Hello, Siegfried. Siegfried Lockhart, Bard Extraordinaire at your services.
It's Siegfried, it's Zito. Have you guys been on the ship yet?
About that, you see, we were attacked by sharks. There was one really massive one, but I blew its head up. But yeah, our ship, it's not a rowboat anymore. It's just some pieces of wood floating around. We're swimming though. We're making.
Staring out with your dark vision and the gray undulating waves, you can just make out the heads and the shoulders and the legs kicking of your three friends as they're getting further and further away from you, Siegfried, as you hold your hand up above the waves to speak into it, kicking your feet to stay above the waterline.
How's it going on your side?
Well, we're not dead, but it didn't go well.
I take it you all lied, messed up, blew your cover, and got caught then.
Well, one of us lied and all of our covers got blown.
Usually it's fairly a good idea to try to be honest before lying, but I see this is rubbed off on all of you, but in the circumstances, I can't shame you either way. It's not right or wrong. We didn't know which way to go, but I would say if you're already caught, the best possibility would just be as honest as you possibly can.
Yeah, but now sort of expecting you guys to arrive.
Siegfried, your friends are now specks in the distance as they are bobbing and swimming towards the ship as you continue to tread water.
I'm gonna let you go. If we're to get on the boat, so I'll leave it up to you all to decide if you want to tell them they're here. If you'd like, you can say that it's only me, because I'm pretty sure trying to tell Byron or Nicholas to not stealth and be honest is not going to work. So explain as best as you can maybe that there's two hard-headed men that are going to try to sneak around and be stealthy, and if they want to knock them out, they can if they find them, or you can just admit them completely and we can get labeled as liars, but I'll try to see what I can do. I'll let you decide what all you tell about us.
So Zito, as he is spouting off this paragraph to you, every so often the sound cuts out. Every 26th word is lost because the spell unfortunately only allows you to speak in 25 words or less before it resets. So, but you get the gist of what he's saying.
I read it loud and clear, Siegfried.
And Zito, you
Siegfried
can
just start swimming.
Beyond Siegfried's voice, Zito, the sound of the lapping waves and the wind gusting is coming over loud and clear over the ascending ring.
How far are you from their ship now?
Siegfried just stops talking, and all you hear is just like water splashing as he starts to.
Okay. After a few minutes, the group gets closer to the sailing vessel, and you can see the lights illuminating the main deck. And you see that that the underside of the ship is heavy and under the waterline. And who is swimming closer to the ship first?
I am.
Who is I am? I thought you were in the cabin.
That's what he wanted you to think.
So marching order, who's in the river? Who's closest to the ship?
Byron, probably, because he's the one that started swimming for.
Okay.
That's fine.
Byron, make a perception check.
far is there?
And I'm trying to stay away from the guy that's kicking his feet and making a bunch of splashing noise.
Okay.
I don't see crap.
With the churning waves, you don't see anything of note as you get closer to the ship. You just see that
Can't help him.
the ship is heavy in the water. No, because he's in front of you. This would not be something that you could help him on.
Okay.
But
If I can see
you are all welcome to make perception checks at this point.
Alright.
The 4 of you that are in the water, not the cabin crew.
I'm gonna look on the water to see what areas are not being lit up.
Okay. So
That's neat.
Siegfried and Nicholas, looking near the waterline, near the front, near the fore section of the ship, underneath the water, you see a faint light emanating underneath the waves, several feet down from the surface of the water.
Hey, Byron, below us.
How far away would you like to stay from the ship at this point?
Well, I think we want to swim up to the shadow parts of the ship.
Okay, then I need everyone to make, if you're approaching the ship further than where you are currently, I need you to make stealth checks.
Alright. Oh, shoot.
You just made it, Zara.
20.
28.
Okay. All 4 of you, regardless of the splashing, the sounds of the waves lapping against the side of the sailing vessel, you all are able to get as close as you want to get to the ship. What section of the ship did you want to go to?
I'm trying
Byron.
to get to the rear.
Yeah, I'm following Byron. You're
So-
our leader. Lead us, Byron.
So you're not going to the front of the ship where you saw the lights below the surface of the water. You're going towards the aft section.
Yes.
I would say that you would not know that that's where your friends are at.
Okay.
So, but you do want to go to the rear of the ship.
I want to go to where I can see the captain's windows or the
So
rear windows of the ship.
okay, so you want to see the large bay windows on the aft section of the ship.
Yes. 'Cause
Okay.
I attempt to climb it.
Okay. So swimming around the back of the ship, you see the large windows. You can see light streaming out from inside, flickering from the cabin, and the aft section of the ship is raised up several feet above the waterline. So I'll need you to make a athletics check to climb the surface of the ship.
Yeah.
Okay. You're able to, gripping with your fingers like fish hooks, you pull yourself up the surface, the slippery surface of the outside of the ship, the vessel. Are the rest of you going with him, or is it just him by himself?
Can you use acrobatics?
No, this is not an acrobatics check. This is a strength athletics check.
I will follow.
I will as well.
I'll try.
Yes.
Nicholas, you're able to scale up the side.
I fall back in the water and just say, I'll just wait here, guys.
Siegfried, you fall into the water. Make a stealth check with the disadvantage. Okay, good to know. And Zara, you fall on top of Siegfried.
I get my plus.
Okay,
It's 11.
okay. Alrighty. So, Zara, as you hit Siegfried, he makes a little bit of a sound as you impact him, and he takes 1 point of bludgeoning damage from you smacking into his body.
Sorry.
And when that happens, Nicholas and Byron, you can hear sound from above you on the aft section, the upper raised aft section of the ship. Like you can hear the sounds of footsteps on the deck as it gets getting closer to the edge of the back of the ship. And then you start to see a lantern light, an ever bright lantern light, which is now being held over the back of the ship. What would you like to do?
Stay in stealth as best we can.
Okay, I need the two of you to roll stealth checks. As you attempt to hide, pressing your bodies against the hull of the ship.
Are we hiding or stealthing?
This is essentially hiding.
Okay.
Stealthing would be moving stealthily. As you press your bodies against the underside ledge of the windows, just out of view, the crew member holds the lantern over the side of the ship, looking down into the water as the four of you try to stay as silent as you possibly can. And then the lantern light goes away as the arm is withdrawn from the edge of the ship. And you can hear the sound of the footsteps, Nicholas and Byron, as they're heading away. And you can now hear low, hushed tones. And I will type in the chat what you hear.
Siegfried,
What?
should we try again? I mean,
Listen, I'm very, very acrobatic, not very strong. I'm stronger than Nick, but I don't have as much luck as Nick.
I mean,
And I
Do
wrote
we
it.
all hear that?
I wrote in the chat. You can make perception checks to see if you heard that. You two with disadvantage because you're bobbing in the water. The sound of the waves.
I'll roll it again.
Yes, please. And you still rolled high. And damn, Zara rolled 20. So yes, all three of you heard this. What would you like to do?
So they heard us. What we can do is we could pretend that our boat crashed and that we're looking for.
I mean, it's true.
So as the two of you are whispering down, bobbing in the water like apples bobbing in a bucket, what are you doing, Nicholas and Byron?
Should,
Hey, Byron, can you speak Elvish?
You asking me that when we're trying to climb?
Yeah, really quietly.
No.
no, wait, can I
Climb
still
up towards the window.
Can I wait, hold on.
As
Before they do that,
as you climb towards the window and peer inside, you see Linda Wrighton leaning over the table in a gorgeous burgundy, almost pinkish burgundy gown. You see in a turquoise aquamarine gown, you see Brunhild with double fisting handing 2 tankards of ale. You see Zito, who is currently stroking his chin, walking around the chamber, and you see Samael, who's sort of leaning back, and he has a cane in his hand, and he's currently tapping the table. And you also see a 5th person, individual, standing in the room that resembles a Warforged, but is of a type and design that is unfamiliar to you, but it looks, in description, almost identical to how Nicholas and, or I should say Zara, described it to the party. It appears to be a Nimblewright.
Byron, they know we're here. They know them two are here. I think we're in the clear, but spoken Elvish said someone is down there. Either we distract them or throw something on the other side of the boat. I don't know, pretend it was a fish. I don't know.
Let's see. Who has the
Is
highest?
all the windows on the back of the ship and lead to this one room?
Correct.
Is there a curtain over any of the window?
There are several curtains within the chamber. You look to your left, you can see they're covering up an area of the chamber, like a private area. And directly in front of the windows, you can see a long table with several bits of silverware and platters, and large hunks of ham and meat and other kinds of foodstuffs. And as you're looking, Brunhild, sitting in the chair, looking straight ahead through the windows, you can just make out the familiar face of a waterlogged Byron staring at you.
Hey!
Jeremy, am I in the light, or is there light around me? Or
I'm gonna wave both. Am I talking?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm making sure, okay? I've never done this. I'm gonna wave both my hands at him and go, hey! Byron! It's Byron!
So there is light illuminating from the inside of the cabin, which is just illuminating you just enough that she could make out your facial features through the window. So as you appeared and looked over the edge, she saw your head and your shoulders as you pulled yourself up to look within the chamber.
And obviously Zara heard this, and she looks at Siegfried. Siegfried, would...
So the door behind you, Brunhild, immediately opens, and a crewman walks in and says, "I heard shouting. What's going on?"
My friends are here!
Your friends are here?
Ignore her. She's been double fisting tankards the whole night.
Make a persuasion check, or make a deception check, Samael. I'll roll it for you.
Dungeon Master, make a deception check for me.
I will roll a deception check for you, Samael.
I sense some deception in that.
Okay. I rolled twice. I did not mean to roll twice.
I will take the higher of the two, thank you.
Okay. The crewman just sort of looks at you and he says, "Quiet, you. The master will be back soon." And he closes the door with a loud click, and you can hear the sounds of his footsteps receding away from you.
The master will be back soon. Whatever.
So,
You know, it amazes me that people actually talk that way.
what are the rest of the group hanging outside of the ship doing now?
Zara's gonna use her sending stone. Can she talk specifically to one person?
Yes, you can contact anyone who is wearing a sending ring. All you have to do is focus on that person.
Alright, Zara's gonna focus on Nick. Nick, what do we do? Brunhild's not being that stealthy. Should we just abort?
Jeremy,
Yes, sir.
question for you. The boat that they came in on, is it still in the water?
Which boat? The longboat? You did not.
The one.
You did not notice it as you were swimming up towards the ship.
Okay. Can we look around on the other side, on both sides, and it's not in the water anymore?
You can attempt to scale the side of the ship to look on the other side, or you can instruct Zara or Siegfried to go swim around to that side.
Swim to the other side and see if the longboat's on that side.
Alright. Siegfried, you got that?
Yes, I mean, or we could just, since they already know someone's down here, we could just kill sharks, help, ship.
I mean,
Listen, if me and you get out, but they're being stealthy, they think they found the person making the noise.
that's true.
Or we can risk getting caught and then have no alibi. Because if we shipwreck, Why would we be silently out here stealthing around?
That's true, that's true. You know, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we can be the distraction.
Exactly. I planned on me being the distraction anyways, but we both already fell down and caused ruckus. We might as well own up to it and give them the chance to be stealthy. But it sounds like our party members aside have not been stealthy.
Zara and Siegfried, you feel a vibration from beneath you in the water.
Alright, who's that? What are we doing? Quick. We were fishing? We were
And
looking?
and bubbles begin sort of rolling up from underneath the hull and rising and hitting the surface of the water and just going to blip 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 popping. These tiny bubbles,
Zara,
bigger
breathe.
bubbles.
Alright, I'm gonna yell. She's gonna quickly focus on Nick. Nick, we are the distraction. Go stealth.
Well, make sure you tell the rest of the party to not give us away.
Alright.
Sorry to scream.
Help! Help! There's a shark. We've been attacked. Help!
You now hear the sounds of running feet as from the aft section above you, and several Everbright lanterns are now being held out over the side and is saying, "What's going on out there? Who's out there?"
Siegfried waves his arms. We were heading back from fishing when we were attacked by a giant shark.
I need Byron and Nicholas to roll stealth checks to continue
Help.
to continue to hide.
Help! Please, we were
Did
just.
you get my message?
Let me take a look. There is no immediate darkness within the chamber, but you can open the window and go in if you want.
What, in the light? I don't think.
So no, that's a no on going in the window.
Yeah, that's a no.
Okay.
I'm gonna use my gift of the shadow and automatically hide.
Okay.
I can use it once per day.
All right.
I
So
was gonna say you could have used a hero point too.
Siegfried and Zara, looking up, you see two men. They could almost be brothers. In the light from their Everbright lanterns, they say, "Swim around to the port side. Can you do that?"
There's something beneath us. There's something beneath us. We'll try.
If you value your lives, you'll go to the port side. We can help you on that side.
Thank you, sir. Siegfried starts to swim over there.
Same as Zara.
Okay.
She is actually panicked, so she looks very panicked.
The
Port side
bubble,
is left.
the bubbles and vibration now have stopped. Zara, I should mention that your halberd has not been warning you. It didn't warn you of the sharks, and it hasn't warned you now.
Seems someone has offended their god.
He said to himself within the cabin as he drank from his glass.
He feels it in his bones.
Okay.
Yes, I'm ready to slay them.
All right, so we'll continue with Siegfried and Zara in a moment. Back to the rear of the ship. Byron and Nicholas, what are you doing?
I'm hiding.
You're both hiding?
Staying there. Yeah, just staying there really quietly.
Okay. Within the chamber, the cabin, you all both heard the sounds of feet running on the deck above you, and then the sounds of yelling. And very, very faintly, you heard a woman's voice yelling from outside the window. And what would the four of you like to do? Or I should say the three of you. Linda is currently continuing to follow your lead and is looking at you. When you yelled Byron, she very quickly glanced to the window before Byron ducked out of the way.
As we're swimming,
Just keep swimming. No talking.
yeah, I'm just gonna keep swimming.
Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. All right.
Swim in, swim in.
Ugh.
All right. So from around the side, several crew throw a rope ladder down to you, to the two of you, and say, "Grab a hold. Start climbing up. Get up here."
Oh, thank you, thank you. And she starts climbing up as best she can.
And up on the deck, you see 4 sailors. They're all standing there regarding you, the two of you. And upon the deck, you see the large center mast, which is stretching up with the sails, which are currently wrapped in tarpaulin and rope. You see a large grated surface in the center of the main deck. You see 4 rowboats, which are strapped down on the sides, both on the port and starboard side of the main deck. Looking towards the front of the ship, you can see an area which is not closed off with doors, but has 2 twin sets of stairs that are going down to a lower section of the deck, and then stairs leading up to the upper section of the forecastle. And then looking behind you, you see a set of double doors heading into another section of the deck, and then you see another identical set of 2 sets of 5-foot wide stairs. One stairs leading up to the deck above on the aft section, and stairs leading down. And the 4 men say, "Explain yourselves."
Oh, hello. My name is Bobby DeCannis. Barbella, for it's a nickname, but you see, I come from the House of Cannith, and I'm a researcher. We do research. We're always trying to invent new things ever since we couldn't make any more Warforged. And, I was in Sean, I was just fishing, we were looking around, and we got attacked by sharks. And this is my friend.
Make a persuasion check. With disadvantage because he's looking at your hand.
Looking at my hand?
He's looking at your hand.
Shoot.
Siegfried just shakes his head.
Samael since his lies.
Siegfried perks up and just shakes his head even more.
And he rolled a natural 1.
Yeah.
Or no, he rolled a 7. Sorry. +1. So he looking at your hand for a moment, and then his eyes dart back up to your face, as if he was looking like
Give me a second, guys.
like he thought he recognized something on your hand. Then he looks back to you and you say, "From House Cannith, you say, and you were fishing? That's a bit odd."
Well, you see, I'm one of the researchers. Obviously, we do more the Warforge and inventing, and I work more with the, in terms of the weapons division. I specialize in helping to create new technological inventions, and, well,
Yeah, that's funny. We were told to expect some folk to come to the ship. It's awful convenient that you 2 of you just happened to show up. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, but you're soaked, drenched. Why don't you come with us?" And he begins leading you away towards a set of stairs heading down to a lower section of the deck.
and
Towards the aft section of the deck, I should say.
I'm definitely keeping my hand inside my pocket.
Okay. As he
Sorry,
leads the are you going with them? He's leading Siegfried. He's leading the 2 of you downstairs.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's no problem at all. And you see from behind you, you can see that as you turn a corner and down the stairs, these 4 crewmen, they start leading you back. There's a door that, as he opens it, opens into a 10-foot wide corridor that heads towards the back of the ship. And you see several doors on both sides, 5 doors each on either side. They almost look like cabin doors. And at the very end, on the left-hand side, he says, "Right this way, miss." And one of the men walks towards the door and pulls from out of his pocket a ring with several keys on it and unlocks the door. And he says, "Right in here." And he opens the door and gestures into a small chamber.
What is this?
"Oh, this is a changing room, miss."
I look around.
Okay. You look around in the chamber. You're not in the chamber yet. He's gesturing towards the chamber. It's just kind of dark in there. There is some lamplight, but it's off ahead and around the corner. You can't really see. All you see is 10 foot ahead of you. You see the hall, the side of the hall. And it looks like a very, very plain wall. There's nothing hanging from the wall. But from where you're standing outside of the room, you don't see anything else.
Sir, if you don't mind, do you happen to have any clothes to change into?
Why,
I
yes,
don't really
miss.
have anything.
They're actually right this way through this door.
Can I?
Insight check?
I want to see whether he's telling the truth.
You can totally insight check that. While you're doing that, I'm going to respond. Give me 1 second. Okay. You're fairly certain that he's on the up and up.
Sir, if you don't mind,
Well,
I'm so sorry.
I completely understand. Before you say another word, please, miss, if you would be so kind as to head into the chamber. We have some fresh towels. There's some lavender perfume if you want to freshen yourself up a bit. There's even a partition so that the gentleman, he can also get changed within as well.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. If you don't mind, just... It's so silly, but I'm afraid of the dark. Would you mind turning the lamp on? Just, I don't like spiders and things like that.
I completely understand, miss. It is absolutely... I want to make sure that you're comfortable until we sort this all out. But if you would just be so kind, I'll bring you another lantern if one lantern isn't enough. If you just head into the chamber. And he's gesturing with his hand towards the open door. And from behind you, Siegfried is dripping droplets from the river onto the floor behind you. And the other crewmen are sort of semicircle standing around you now.
Siegfried reaches in and grabs a his stone and cleansing and cleans it off real quick. "I'm sorry for making such a mess, gentlemen."
Oh, Siegfried, can you use that on me too?
And with that, the 4 men immediately reach out and grab both of you and start shoving you towards this door. Would you like to resist?
Zara, go in with them, alright? I need to talk to them.
They're shoving both of you in this room. So at this point, would you like to resist? As you, this is a split-second thing. I'm going to ask you guys one more time. Would you like to resist? And then we're going to go into initiative.
Oh, what are you doing? Please. And she's going to kind of resist.
I'm gonna use Thunderwave.
You're using Thunderwave?
Oh, all right.
All right, let's go ahead and get into this then. All right, I need you to go ahead and let me throw some people onto the tracker, and I will share them out.
I would
with
like
you.
to state that I respect your decisiveness in that.
We want to be in it if someone would impulsively lie all the time.
All right, so let me.
What do you mean impulsively
I'm gonna
lie?
I'm going
Tell
to-
the truth to a bad guy?
I'm
How
gonna.
dumb can you get?
I'm gonna share.
I
them-
don't know. To the bad guys and getting caught when you could just be honest to get the ring off.
Hey! Enough of that. No arguing. No metagaming. All right, I'm gonna share the map with you, Zara, and I'm gonna share with you, Devin, when you're connected. Okay.
My fantasy grounds is still logging in because it started pouring outside, so I had to run in, and when I shut it, it exited out, so it's
Nope.
loading back up.
No worries. Let me just get. Let's see. I just have to load some people onto the map. There we are. This is going to be interesting. Oh boy. So, if you would be so kind as to roll initiative, Zara. And then we'll, before we start properly, we will resolve the Thunder Wave attack. I just need to throw some people onto the combat tracker. I figured something like this was going to happen. I mean, what else are you going to do if somebody tells you, hey, go in this room?
I would have went in, fearless, as always. As for everybody else, I can't be sure. I do think that this is going to end with everybody on the ship dying, except for us, though.
Oh, you think so?
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna eventually. We're all gonna get on a small boat, sail away, and the Coast Guard is gonna find Zardoz crucified to one of his masts, courtesy of Samael.
Hey, you may have to roll for me. It's loading now, but last time it loaded up.
Okay. Alright, so currently you guys are both sort of cornered by these 4 sailors. And they're not drawing weapons, but they're reaching out to grab onto you. To like sort of just grab and grapple you guys. And Siegfried, let me roll initiative for you. And then I will do your Thunder Wave. Let's see. Alright, so you're gonna hit. Unfortunately, you're gonna hit everyone.
That's fair. She deserves it. She lied, and I told her to be truthful.
So you're gonna hit Zara, you're gonna hit these sailors.
And my dude, I'm gonna tell enough of everyone. It's time we all came to be honest about this whole situation. I am pissed that everyone is alive.
Jeremy, what did you call those other gentlemen in the room with?
The sailors?
Oh, you said sailors. I thought you said killers. I thought you gave away something by accident.
They're sailors, but they might be killers. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. We'll find out. I guarantee you Siegfried's about to be one.
Okay. So it looks like everyone except for Zara and one of the sailors failed.
That was a very bad roll on 2d8.
Right? Well, some of them it was like half damage. But yeah, that was pretty crappy.
But if they enough, allow me to tell the truth while this other woman tells her lies.
All right, so before we go through and resolve all that, Byron, I will say yes. Linda begins violently coughing and hacking and running towards the door and smacking the door. And through this distraction, you're able to slip into the through the window and make a stealth check with advantage. Okay, you're able to open the window and would you like to leave it open or use a sleight of hand check to try and close it as you walk away?
I got no sleight of hand. I'll leave.
You'll leave it open? Okay.
Can I sleight of hand it, help him out, and shut it?
I will say that you can give him advantage.
Okay.
Since he's essentially he's acting, so unless you were actually like paying attention to what he was doing, you wouldn't know that he was doing this. So Byron, you're able to slip into the cabin. You see Linda, you see your 3 companions, you see this Nimblewright Warforged, and you're able to duck behind the curtains. They're on the side.
I'll stay there for now.
Okay. And the Nimblewright turns around and sees that the window is open and walks up to it and closes it like absentmindedly, and then turns around and is now holding the jug in front of it, standing in front of the window now. Okay. And let's see. Sailor is going to attempt. Sailor's going to attempt to restrain you, Siegfried. Let me just turn this down because that is way too loud. There we go. Holy crap, that was loud. Okay. So, let's see. This guy's not very strong, so he might be able to get past it. So, would you like to make a strength, athletics, or acrobatics check?
Acrobatics, and I'm here now, so I can.
Go ahead. Oh, look at that. You managed to very deftly move out of the way of his grab, and the sailor looks to his friend next to him and says, "Grab him!" When he's going to attempt to do the same thing, he's going to reach out and try to grab you. So you can make your acrobatics.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's a natural one. He grabs you. You are currently grappled and restrained by this man, as he is now grabbed a hold of you. And this sailor is going to aid his friend, and he begins pushing you towards Zara and pushing you towards Zara. And Zara, you are now being sort of funneled against your will into this room. Would you like to resist?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna like just be like, wait, I don't understand, but I'm not gonna.
And the man says, "We'll explain it all to you later. Now get in the room."
Can I at least have a change of clothes?
And he now reaches out to grab your wrist. And would you like to resist?
I'm not gonna resist. In fact, I don't want him to hold the hand with the ring on it, though. So I'm just gonna hold out my hand without the ring and say like, all right, and she's just gonna walk into the room.
Okay.
Herself. All right, I get it. All right, as long as you let me know what's going on, I really don't know.
Sorry, Siegfried, I just shared the map with you as well.
And she's just gonna go and sit in the room.
Okay. You're welcome to move your token if you like.
And I apologize for my friend. I mean, understandably, we don't know what's going on.
And he just sort of lets go of your wrist as you head into the room and just sort of pushes you against the wall as you sit down. Would you like to do anything else?
No.
Okay. And the other man now, he is going to reach out and grab for Siegfried. He will do so at advantage since you are currently restrained, Siegfried. And yeah, that's a natural 20. So you just feel like this guy come behind you. You've got people grabbing onto your wrist. This guy's grabbing onto your shoulders, and they just drag you back and throw you into this room, slam the door shut, and lock it.
No, don't put Siegfried near her. He's going over here.
Okay.
He's gonna lean in the corner quietly and just stare at the door.
All right. The two of you are currently by yourselves. And one of the men looks in through the bars of the door and he says, "You just sit tight. We'll be with you. Give us some time."
Please, if you could just give me a change of clothing. It's very cold.
If you'd do me a favor and just pile all your weapons in the corner.
You three burly men are gonna come at me at the same time again, like cowards. I offer peace and to tell the truth, and all you do is manhandle me.
Look, we're just following orders. We could have done a whole lot worse to you. And you attacked us.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were shipwrecked and you drag us in here.
It's what we were ordered to do. Now, if you'll excuse us, we have some more stowaways potentially to look for. And they all begin stamping down the hallway down.
Zara, you stay far away from me, you impulsive liar.
No. My name is Bobby. Your name is Luke, okay? So,
They saw your finger.
No,
They know
didn't.
you have the ring on already. He was staring at it the whole time we were on the ground before you hit it.
Nicholas, what are you doing this whole time, clinging to the side of the ship?
Yes.
Okay. Back in the main cabin room, would you like to do anything else before we transition back to the cabin with the rest of the party?
I wanted to have a quick conversation with.
Okay, we'll get back to that in a moment. I was actually asking Nicholas.
No, I'm gonna wait it. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna put my ear real close to the porthole. I'm gonna listen in.
There's no porthole.
no.
There's 4 windows. And
Yeah.
and you're currently ducked down below them.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a shadow from the light being like sort of filtered and blocked from the lantern light on one of the window panes that wasn't there before.
Actually, if I can go back like 2 seconds, I know Zara's gonna use her Ring of Sending and whisper, "Nick, Byron, they're looking for you. They know someone else is here."
Yeah. So I'm gonna hearing that. I'm gonna definitely sit tight.
Okay. Back within the captain's cabin, the 4 of you, the 3 dinner party, and Byron, of course, and Linda, overheard the commotion on the deck. You heard some sounds of voices, raised voices, down below, a level below you. Actually, no, I apologize. That was 2 levels below you. You heard some sounds of scuffling. Very faint, though. For all you know, it could be rats scratching in the walls. And what would you all like to do? The Nimblewright is standing in the corner, still at attention. It has now placed the decanter down on the table behind it, and it is standing with one of its hands resting on its rapier.
We'll continue drinking and waiting for the captain to return.
Zito is gonna go over to Siegfried, or not Siegfried.
Siegfried.
Yes, I'm gonna go over to Siegfried.
I'm gonna go downstairs to Siegfried.
No, Zito's gonna go over to Samael. Samael. He's gonna get his voice down really loud. So when we open that window, I noticed that this Warforged would come over and close it. Do you think if we open it again, you think he'll close?
Yeah, most likely.
So, how about if we open the window, and when he comes over to close it, he pushes.
I had considered that, but I still don't know if this situation is going to turn south yet. That would be a good way to make it turn south fast, though.
I don't get a good feeling about this, though.
You're now hearing the stomping footsteps from the deck outside. And a few from above you, just heavy footsteps from the ship's wheel section in the rear aft upper castle section, the aft castle.
I like your idea, and I think it's something we need to hold on to, but I don't think it's the time to make that decision yet.
Linda leans over to you, Brunhild, and says, Brunhild, you said you saw Byron.
Sure did.
And she, in a very hushed tone, she says, he reached out to me.
What was that?
And she then turns and she looks to the Nimblewright behind her and then stops speaking. And the Nimblewright is now just sort of scanning the room, looking at each of you.
I'm going to wave back at him.
It does not wave to you, but it gives you a curt nod. It tips its hat at you.
I'm going to nod back at it.
Zito's going to hold up an empty glass for it to fill.
And the Nimblewright, seeing this motion with the glass, it immediately gets up and begins walking over towards you with the decanter and pours you a glass full of wine. At this point, I would need Brunhild, Zito, and Samael to roll Constitution saves, because you guys have been drinking for hours in this room.
Very well. We will roll Constitution saves. I rolled a 20. Brunhild rolled a 24.
Oh my. Brunhild rolled a 99. How's that even possible? I keep forgetting that you guys can't roll. I'm so sorry.
It's that Dwarven Constitution.
That's true. She has a +6 to her save.
Yeah, I think she's actually healing right now and probably building up extra hero points by drinking.
All right, so Brunhild rolled a 25.
Yeah, I did.
Zito, you rolled a 13. You're feeling tipsy. And Samael, you are absolutely sloshed. You rolled a 6.
I'm going to get up and start dancing with my cane.
So, Samael, you stand up and you begin sort of whirling your cane in your hand and dancing. And the Nimblewright, sort of taken aback at this motion at first, drops one hand to its hilt of its rapier and then takes a step forward. And then watching that you're just dancing, why don't you make a performance check for me? I'll roll it. I keep making you make these rolls, and you're not here to roll them for me. All right, let's see. Performance.
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's okay. It happens. That's a natural 20. Holy shit.
Samael has danced the dance of freedom.
So the Nimblewright steps back several steps and back to its resting position as Samael cuts a rug in the middle of the captain's cabin.
Does he start dancing with me?
He does not, but it just looking, you just see the faint sign that it appears to be tapping one of its feet.
If Zardoz were in here, we'd be dating right now.
From behind the curtain, Byron, what are you doing?
Can I see the item that we're looking for?
You do not, but you do see another item. Sitting on you within the chamber where you're at, you see a portable bed chamber pot. You see a lovely plush bed. You see a dresser drawer, and you see a changing station with a mirror. And on the changing station, on this table, you see a glass covering, and you see something small hovering within the glass covering. From this far away, you can't quite make it out. It looks like it might be a rodent that's floating.
No, I'm good. I'm just looking for the item we came for.
Okay. Before you glance away, you can just see this little thing as it's floating in the air, sort of tumbling end over end, and it's just kind of looking at you quizzically. And then it starts to sort of like do a figure eight within the glass enclosure. And you're fairly certain that that's a hamster.
Oh no.
And that's where we're going to end the session for the evening.